Tell us about yourself and give us a quick introduction to John Andrew Entwistle.
Absolutely. My name is John Andrew Entwistle, founder and CEO of Wander. I grew up in New York, a small town called Katona, just north of the city, and became fascinated with computers and software at a pretty young age. I ended up starting my first internet company at 13, 14, which did pretty well, and I always like to joke meant that I was not focused on my homework much after that. I ended up enrolling in high school online and traveled all across the world, sort of a digital nomad before it was a thing. During that time, I started a company called Coder, which moves the development environment where a software engineer writes code to an organization's cloud infrastructure. That company ended up becoming pretty successful. We powered millions of software engineers, many large customers like Goldman Sachs, Dropbox, etc. We ended up raising about $45 million, so I ran that company as CEO from ages 18 through 23. Somewhere in between, I became a Teal Fellow, 30 under 30, all the classic tech stuff. And so it was a really wonderful, wonderful experience. I ended up leaving that company in early 2021, and I was like, all right, I was 23 at the time, like what's next? And I rented this cabin out in Colorado to get away. The whole experience, it just wasn't perfect. I think that's probably an experience that many of us have had when we rented a vacation rental. The beds were uncomfortable, the internet was bad, there was crusty ketchup in the fridge, and that's really where the idea for Wander came from. It was this idea of, could we solve this customer problem? Could we bring this sort of consistency and quality to the space? Could we, guarantee that it was going to be clean and have all the amenities and pieces that you desired? And so started the company about 3 months later in May 2021, and now here we are 3 years later, thousands and thousands of guests, lots of happy customers, and scaling very quickly.
If you were running into someone on the street and they had no idea what Wander was, what'd you tell them to describe it?
The easiest way to think about Wander is that we take all of the best parts of a luxury hotel. So think the beds, the linens, the cleanliness, and then combine that with the best parts of a vacation rental. So all of the privacy and space, having your own kitchen, those types of dynamics. And so when you merge those two together and get rid of all the things that you don't want, like crusty ketchup in the fridge or bad Wi-Fi or those things, really just understanding that when you go and rent this vacation home that there's not going to be any surprises, then you really end up with this magical experience. And the beautiful thing about Wander is that you can have that experience all across the country, whether you're staying in Malibu or skiing in Vail, whatever that looks like, you can go and enjoy this great experience.
Can you talk about some of the progress, some of the key milestones, and some of the key metrics that the company has achieved in 36 months of time?
Yeah, it's been an incredible 36 months. I mean, we've gone from idea to a product to a really incredible team and brand. I think we have over 250,000 users on the platform. Tens of thousands of people have enjoyed our properties. We're at over 75 locations. Our NPS is in the mid 80s. For context, I think that Four Seasons is in the 40s, if I'm not mistaken. Airbnb is something like 38. So that really gives you a great idea of just the customer satisfaction and the excitement. I would say that those are really the big things. And then if you look from a product and a company perspective, I mean, everything you see has been built. The booking website and engine, the property management software, the operations, our payment systems, fraud detection, all those different pieces that let us actually run this company and product.
Talk to me about category creation and category leadership. How does Wander think of itself in the broader travel space, and kind of what is Wander's role in terms of innovating in sort of the travel ecosystem?
Yeah, so when you think about lodging is about a $1.2 trillion industry, and really within that you have hotels and resorts, and then you have vacation rentals. I think vacation rentals is about a $100 billion plus market at this point. So relatively small, but still growing within that space. Really the idea with Wander is effectively, again, can we take the best components of the hotel space, that consistency, that brand, and then pair that with the best pieces of the vacation rental space. So we're really creating a new category in that sense. I think that what's really interesting and exciting is all of us know someone who says, I would only stay at a hotel, right? Because they don't want those surprises. But one of the exciting things about Wander is that obviously we solve that problem for that customer set. So we're able to pull demand both from the hotel industry and also the vacation rental industry. And I think what we're going to find over the next few years is that this new category of effectively branded vacation rentals or hospitality vacation rentals, it's going to be really a dominant force as it grows.
How do you think about the problem and why Wander exists to solve it?
I think everyone has had a bad vacation rental experience. You arrive somewhere and it just doesn't look like the photos, beds aren't comfortable, internet is bad. And when you think about what that means, you and your family booked this travel, you took off of work, there's all these logistics that go around it. And so it's not just that the experience was subpar, it's really like what it could have been and what you lost out on. And so I would really say that that's the problem that we're looking to solve. And if you were to sort of articulate that in the numbers, I mean, again, Airbnb's NPS is in the high 30s. The broader lodging industry is, in the mid 40s. So overall, customers aren't satisfied. And the fact that this industry is so large and this problem is so big and affects so many people and there isn't a great solution is really where I think Wander can have the biggest impact.
So just tell me about how Wander specifically solves this problem and how it's different than anything that's ever existed before.
I think where you want to start is, what does the industry look like today? Today you have a bunch of fragmented operators, fragmented components that are all trying to talk to each other to deliver this quality end user experience. For us, the idea really was, could we solve this through verticalization by controlling both the bits and the atoms and bringing together all these different components to deliver a truly exceptional experience? So when you think about what that all looks like, really the first thing is consistent quality. No matter which Wander you stay at, you have the same beds, linens, towels, little Ghirardelli chocolates at the bedside table, all these different pieces that are consistent and then also standardized. So whether it's the actual underlying quality of the home and being in a safe neighborhood, the actual amenities inside of the home. From there, we kind of drift down into the operations, really ensuring that we have both an incredible local team, but also incredible technology that's really ensuring that everything is orchestrated to the highest quality and the highest standard, and that these different vendors are all sort of correctly coordinated to deliver this truly incredible experience. From there, you get into the idea of guest communication. We want to ensure that anything that someone needs, no matter the hour, is being handled, whether it's you wanting a masseuse at the property or just sort of questions in terms of what Wander you're going to book next. We want to make sure that you're always getting a response. And that's both with our AI concierge along with, of course, our human team as well, perfectly interlinking to ensure that everything is handled in a very quick and easy fashion. And then the final piece is really, again, that digital experience, making sure that as a user, you have this first-class experience where you can see all the different photos of the home, property tours, everything that you need to know, different activity guides, so that you know exactly what you're getting when you go and book a Wander, as opposed to taking a gamble on your family's vacation.
What is Wander's business model? How does it work?
At its core, Wander's a managed marketplace. Really, it's about this idea of taking customers who have a demand for this type of quality product, handling some of the operations in between, and then matching that with the supply side, so really our owners. And by ensuring that we're managing those operations in between to a really high standard, what that results in is outperformance for our owners along with an industry-leading CSAT for our guests.
If you had to articulate like the thesis around Wander, like why it works and how it makes sense and like kind of the why now, how would you articulate that?
Really, the core idea is to take all of the best properties all across the US and eventually internationally and have them all on one platform, so the customer only has one place to look. Then the idea is operating them to this consistent standard, really ensuring that, again, everything that the guest expects, from cleanliness to quality to the safety of the home and the neighborhood that it's in, are all being managed. And it's this idea of being able to do so at a very large scale. And so we automate a lot of our different property management using AI and other automations to really ensure that we can scale property management and the quality of that at the speed of software. Then the final piece is distributing that supply to our audience. So to the hundreds of thousands of Wander users that exist today, and hopefully the millions of Wander users that'll exist in the future.
So at the home level and unit economic level, just talk me through how and why Wander outperforms other homes.
At the end of the day, when you think about the hotel industry, branded hotels tend to outperform unbranded hotels. So a Ritz-Carlton will outperform a unbranded hotel, even in the exact same building. And the reason for that is that customers understand exactly what they're going to get, and they're willing to pay more for that type of consistency. There's higher demand for it. And so when it comes to Wander, really it's that core idea showing up, is that our users understand that when we put our brand and our operations onto a property, that they're going to have a higher quality experience, and that shows up in the underlying performance. When you pair that with a really incredible marketing machine, making sure that these properties end up in front of those users, you really end up with outperformance across the board.
Yeah, so just walk me through how Wander gets these beautiful homes in front of travelers and what kind of the distribution strategy is.
One of the exciting things about Wander is that we've built our own booking platform. You can think about it like our own private version of Airbnb or VRBO, but just for Wander properties. So beyond just being able to have all these properties in one place rather than looking for a needle in a haystack, you also have all this incredible content that's produced to really spotlight the home. Think photos, videos, property tours, guides, blogs, all these different components that not only help a guest decide where they want to go, but also can be shared across many different channels that gets these properties in front of the right users. And so that allows not only for the user to be able to find and book one of these properties with confidence, but again, really drive incredible outperformance for our owners.
Walk me through this thesis that software can actually solve this historically human-heavy process around.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we're in this really unique time. I mean, obviously you have all these advancements happening in AI and automation where, for the first time ever, you can have this, historically logistically complex human-heavy business now be able to scale at the speed of software and also have the correctness of software. What I always like to tell the team is that, as a species, we're able to go and launch a rocket that hooks up to the International Space Station, yet we're unable to properly manage a vacation home. And so why is that? And the reason why is because the industry is obviously not technology first. And so at Wander, that's where we're very different. We ended up building out our own internal property management software called Wander OS that handles absolutely everything around the underlying operations of a property, as far from the scheduling of the individual vendors, their payouts, to the different checklists that a cleaning crew has to go through. All these different components, all entirely automated, effectively taking, again, this human-heavy, logistically complex, error-prone process, and now having it have the speed and correctness of software.
Just walk me through, how Wander is leveraging AI to improve the customer experience.
It's really all about this idea of giving our team superpowers. When you think about Wander as we scale, we've gone from 3 properties to now close to 100. We'll be close to over 200 by the end of the year. And so you have literally at any given point in time, hundreds of guests at our properties all across the country. And we want to ensure that each one of those stays is absolutely perfect. So whether it's enhancing concierge to ensure that those answers and replies are coming out in a timely manner, to ensuring that every single piece of the underlying property operations are happening without fail, we're really leveraging AI and deep automation to ensure that the experience for our guests is as perfect as it can be.
Just walk me through the growth of the company to date, but also where the company will land at the end of the year in terms of bookings, locations, users, etc.
For a company that's only 3 years old, I think our growth has been pretty extraordinary. When you think about Wander as an idea, it's relatively complex. You have all these different components that need to come together to deliver this great customer experience. But then the big question is, once you deliver that experience, can you scale it? And so as a company, we already have more locations in May of this year than we did all of last year. We have over 250,000 users. We're projecting 400,000 plus by the end of the year. From a bookings perspective, we're expecting to nearly 3x year over year. So there's a lot of really exciting things that are happening, and we're seeing incredibly strong growth. I think most importantly, seeing that growth while continuing to have such an incredible customer satisfaction score.
Walk me through the mechanics of Wander's growth engine and how you anticipate it accelerating in the years to come.
It all starts with outperformance. This idea that homes on Wander really outperform the market, and that's why owners want to list with us. From a guest perspective, we then take all of the best homes and have them in one place for them to go and book. We then automate all of the operations using Wander OS and Wander AI to ensure that the experience is beyond perfect. And when you deliver a consistently great experience to guests trip after trip, obviously they demand more and more locations, which is what leads to that outperformance. And so what you end up with is this really incredible growth flywheel where we're satisfying both guests and owners and creating real value and, of course, many happy memories in the process.
Yeah, so obviously building a company of this magnitude is a team sport. Walk me through the leadership team and everything happening behind the scenes.
Absolutely. We have a really remarkable team full of just truly passionate, incredible people. Everything that you see, whether it's having a wonderful trip or clicking book now on our website, was built by someone who, again, just loves the mission that we're on and is incredibly passionate. From a leadership perspective, our team is truly incredible. Kyle, our CMO, was the second marketing hire at Open Door and also their head of brand, as well as at Hotel Tonight. Carlene, our COO, previously scaled the JDB Hotel brand all across the world with Chip Connolly. Nathan, our CTO, was head of product at Coder, working on some of the most complex and technically advanced systems you can imagine. Lauren, our VP Finance, managed billions of dollars of revenue at Verizon. Amelia, our head of sales, was previously a director at Angie and HomeAdvisor. Matt, our chief of staff and exited founder. And of course, we also have a really great board. Chucky Reddy from QED was previously at JP Morgan for 17 years. And Alex Bard from Redpoint is a previous exited founder. And together they've backed many incredible unicorns, and we're very lucky to work with them both.
Obviously, Wander's built a pretty great core product that customers love, but let's brainstorm a little bit about the future. Walk me through some of the near-term kind of expansion opportunities for the company.
Our North Star is really to build the infrastructure for people to experience the world. And when you think about that, obviously the first step is really aggressive expansion, having more incredible places like this that you normally wouldn't be able to go to, and unlocking that for all of our customers. The next is starting to think about adding third-party curated homes that are managed by others but meet our quality standard. That'll allow us to expand into markets where operating the homes wouldn't necessarily make sense in the short term. From there, it's really taking all of the technology that we've built and making it accessible to those other operators so that they can have the level of operations that we have at all of the Wander properties, whether it's operated by us or not. And then it's expanding AI concierge with this idea that you can book dinner reservations, flights, rental cars, and really have this personal travel agent right in your pocket, whether you're staying at a Wander or not. So there's a lot of really exciting things on the horizon, so be sure to keep an eye out over the next few years.
What makes the Wander customer different and special?
I think that Wander customers understand that travel is an important component to living a happy life. They want to have memories with their loved ones. They want to explore new places. And we feel incredibly grateful that they choose Wander over and over and over again as their preferred platform to experience the world. Obviously, none of us would be here without our customers, and so we're incredibly grateful for the opportunity to deliver value to them.